Within this video, I will demonstrate how we are being subjugated by keeping our minds dumbed down. To subjugate by keeping the subjugated group's mind dumbed down means to maintain control over a group of people by limiting their intellectual development and critical thinking abilities. This can be achieved through various means, including controlling education, information, and promoting superficial entertainment. Essentially, the phrase describes a strategy in which those in power keep the subordinate groups less informed and less capable of critical thoughts, and to ensure their continued obedience and control. This is what white oppressive forces have done to the Black population. It's the true reason why many of us now says the most ridiculous things in regards to our plight and condition while wearing a straight face. When people's minds have been dumbed down, they don't know it. They normalize it. The following are beliefs held by millions among us, which are results of our minds having been dumbed down by the white society. These disclosures will either offend a weak mind or attract a strong one, but you must be willing to listen to these truths in order to emancipate your mind from white mental slavery. They are the truth that will set you free. The belief that we are being controlled by silly Willie Lynch slave syndrome myth is a result of a mind that's been dumbed down. The Willie Lynch letter was actually written in 1970 by the late Dr. Kwabena Ashanti. He confirmed it's a complete work of fiction. He described those symptoms mentioned in the letter based upon behaviors that he himself witnessed during modern times. This is why the letter appears so accurate. This is also why when experts examined the literature, they found that it contained modern words that are not consistent with its 1700 date. The Willie Lynch myth also presents what would in fact be the least effective and least plausible method used for controlling generations of millions of people. It's simply absolutely not how true brainwashing is achieved. In fact, you'd have to be ignorant to believe it. True brainwashing requires a system that's being constantly reapplied and reinforced upon the minds of a targeted population in order to remain effective. If not, its effectiveness would lessen with each new generation, not continuing or in fact even worsening as we witness amongst our people. The Willie Lynch myth actually keeps our minds dumbed down and distracted from learning the truth of our plight and condition. Secondly, the belief that we made the N-word ours and that using it now empowers us is also the result of a mind that has been dumbed down by the system of white supremacy. The truth of the matter is that we were socially engineered by white oppressive forces to call ourselves by the N-word, because doing so conditions us to perceive ourselves through a false inherent subordinate identity that aids the white society in maintaining social dominance, social capital, and control over us. And the belief that the word niggas, an ancient Ethiopian word meaning king, presents a good reason to now call ourselves niggas, is also the result of a dumbed down mind. Calling ourselves a word that sounds closely to the original derogatory N-word makes as much sense as learning that the word shit was an ancient word meaning king and thinking that would present a good reason to now call ourselves shit. An ignorant mind doesn't know it's ignorant. The truth is that the word niggas is being misused to keep us functioning under the same psychological spell cast by the original N-word, because the subconscious mind doesn't see the different spelling. And the belief that a Bible that was brutally beaten into submission within the blood-soaked minds of our enslaved ancestors by their ungodly enslavers will now set us free is also the result of a dumbed-down mind. Also, the belief that a Bible that strongly condones the evils of slavery and that was written by history's most ungodly group, contained the true words of God, is also the result of a mind that has been dumbed down. And no, the oldest Bible is not found in Ethiopia. Christianity did not reach Ethiopia until the reign of King Ezana in the year 341. That's 16 years after the Romans, Europeans, created the false religion, keeping us misbelieving that Christianity started in Africa is how they keep our minds dumbed down and mentally enslaved by Christianity. The Romans, who created the false religion, routinely engaged in massive orgies, wife swapping, pedophilia, bestiality, and death sports. And they continued these practices long after writing the Bible. Furthermore, again, all of these facts concerning the Bible totally disqualifies it from being contained the words of God. A dumbed down mind are not able to see the truth. All of these noted disclosures are idiotic beliefs that are held by those whose minds have been dumbed down by the white society. As I said in the beginning, these disclosures will either offend a weak mind or attract a strong one. These are facts. You have to function based on what is facts, not your feelings of what you believe. Look at the facts. The truth that they don't want us to learn, that we need to learn, are the hidden social sciences for maintaining white social dominance and that are being used by the white society to facilitate their long-term oppression of the black population. Social science is a branch of science devoted to the study of societies and how society functions, how people relate within a society. In order for black people to truly liberate ourselves, we must elevate our thinking above a biblical fairy tale, a silly slave syndrome myth, and these feeble-minded premises. And we must learn instead of the true nefarious social sciences the white oppressive forces deploys for maintaining their dominance and to facilitate their long-term oppression of us. The white society functions based upon social sciences. Case point in proof. Have you ever noticed that we never receive negative narratives about the white population? Can you not see just how cartoonishly unrealistic that actually is? It's actually a social science tactic used for maintaining white social dominance. According to white social scientists, feeding disparaging negative narratives about the white population to the public undermines their position of social dominance. Therefore, all narratives fed into the white dominant society falsely exalts their racial group. This is why most people don't know of the true narratives about the white society. Most don't know the hidden reality is that in the U.S., most violent crimes are in fact committed by Caucasians. Most mass shooters, serial killers, cop killers are all in fact Caucasians. The oppressors are also more likely to murder a loved one for financial gain, and they are more likely to engage in hate crimes. The oppressors are also more likely than any other group to commit the acts of matricide and patricide. That's the killing of parents. These facts are totally consistent with their collective behaviors demonstrated throughout history. Throughout history, the oppressors have demonstrated an entrenched predisposition for brutal racism that is matched only by their proclivity for deceit, greed, and hunger for power. They alone are the most narcissistic and racist group. All other races have been their enemies or their victims. Throughout histories, the oppressors have demonstrated a total disregard for the human lives of non-whites. Their subjugation, murder, and exploitation of all other races is unparalleled. They have killed more groups throughout history than all other groups combined. There has never been a time in human history where the oppressors have not either exploited millions of people or contributed directly or indirectly to the misery, suffering, and deaths of millions of people. While labeling all other groups as being savages, the oppressors have in fact been the most brutally savage throughout history. It's the true reality that we're forbidden from speaking of through censorships and sanction. These facts are deliberately withheld from the public because if they became more commonly known, it would undermine the white society's position of social dominance. All societies function based upon the narratives that are fed into them, and the narrative fed into the white dominant society are falsely scripted to keep the society functioning in ways that aids in maintaining white social dominance. The white ruling class deploys many hidden social sciences that serve their nefarious objective. There's even a social science reason why black people are learning more black racially affirming facts from each other than we do so within our white governed schools. It's because in order for the white society to maintain their social dominance over black people, they must condition us to perceive us, to accept our subordinate status. And to do so, we must be conditioned to perceive ourselves through a false inferior identity. By withholding our black racially affirming facts and teaching this only by the contribution made by Caucasian, this conditions us to perceive ourselves through a false inherent identity that makes us more accepting of our subordinate status within the white dominant society. This is why most black people graduate from high school only believing that we invented peanut butter, not knowing that despite cultural traumas wrought by the injustice of slavery and white racism, most inventions that have revolutionized the world were either invented by black people or were directly inspired by early inventions made by black people. They keep that from our psyche because if we knew that, we would not function as subordinates. So they keep that from us. Also, there's a social science why black people always receive negative narratives about ourselves. When you critically think, can't you see how cartoonishly unrealistic it is that all of our narratives are negative? Or all study results favors whites over blacks? There's a social science for why all study results favors whites over blacks. It's because it subliminally embeds the myth into our subconscious mind of white superiority and black inferiority. And our subconscious mind affects how we function. It makes us feel inferior to whites. Now, the reason also why they keep us, they elevate the exaggerate issue of black on black crime and they keep us demoralized because a demoralized black population is easier to control than a black population that's not demoralized. A black population that's divided is easier to control than a black population that's not divided. The white oppressors studied this in 1968 and determined that the two core aggravating factors for that decade's unprecedented black protest was an elevated black collective self-esteem and black unity brought about the Black Pride movement. So those propaganda campaigns that subject us to receiving only the fraudulent worst about ourselves and keep pushing the issue of black on black crime in our face are designed to lower our collective self-esteem, and divide us, demoralize us, and it shifts our collective aggressions away from the white society and redirects it against ourselves. It's the reason why many black people walk around saying, we are worst enemies, we are worst enemies. It's always by deliberate design when the oppressed starts thinking and behaving as the oppressor wants them to. And it's always achieved by social sciences. As long as we walk around saying, it's Willie Lynch, we have dumbed down minds. Idiotic, dumbed down minds. And we don't even know how stupid we sound when we say it. We have to know what's true. Because if we function based upon false premises in regard to our plight and condition, then all of our liberating strategies and remedies that stem from them will also be flawed. This is why those of us who know must teach. And this is why I'm trying to elevate your minds. I educate to liberate. If you are walking around believing in Willie Lynch, believing that Jesus is going to come and save us, calling yourself by the N-word, you have a dumbed down mind. Now, you can sit and hate me all you want. You can get angry, but I'm telling you the truth. And research what I'm saying. You can research it. Research social science. Research your beliefs. When you start researching your beliefs, you will learn that everything you believe is a damn lie. And everything I'm saying is true. One love and peace.